This episode includes negative depictions and simplified stereotypes of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Rather than ignoring parts of the park's history, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact and learn from it and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together.
Sent from Disneyland, history in our hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, and Ben and Noel Bruning, B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel Nablock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has guests crossing the pontoon bridge on Tom Sawyer Island. In the background, you can see the Mark Twain winding its way through the rivers of America. On the back it reads, "The rivers of America. Life is much as it was a century ago along the rivers of America. You can cruise aboard frontier vessels like the stern-wheeler Mark Twain and explore Tom Sawyer Island with its floating barrel bridge." It's postmarked April 9th, 1986, with a Van Nuys cancel and a 14-cent Sinclair Lewis postage stamp, Scott number 1856. I assume they visited the park on Tuesday, April 8th, 1986, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The weather was a high of 69 and a low of 48. It's addressed to Mrs. Lee Holtz of Machias, New York. It reads, "My wrist is lame and it bothers me to write, so a card will have to suffice. Lois is out on the patio with me addressing place cards for the wedding. Over 310 coming. We are staying at Mary's mother's now, a lovely home in a beautiful area. Pat arrived late last night, haven't seen him yet. All going to a Chinese restaurant tonight, and managed a short letter to Warren. Love, Junior and Lois." Recently, I picked up an explorer's map of Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer Island and thought, for March, it would be fun to do a March Map Madness, looking at Disneyland maps through the years. For this week, I'm looking at a 2007 map of the new Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer Island versus the old 1957 map of Tom Sawyer Island. Starting with things that stayed the same include Tom and Huck's Treehouse, which over the years has been closed off to guests, but is still a part of the island experience. The 1957 map notes that, at the time, it was the highest point in Disneyland. I'm impressed that both maps use an identical typeface and handwriting style to label the different parts of the island. Another feature on both maps is the suspension bridge and the pontoon bridge, the latter being featured on the postcard of the segment, as well as Smuggler's Cove on the east side of the island. Other listed areas on both maps include Ambush Rock, a rock awning on the east part of the island, and Pirate's Den, another eastern part of the island near where the shipwreck is today. The bottom right-hand corner of the map include 2 boys rafting with some slight changes. The flag on the top has been changed from a pirate flag in the 1957 version to a simple triangular-shaped pennant in the 2007 version, and the 2 boys on the raft now have pirate hats versus the original straw hats. The boy at the front of the boat, who originally had a fishing pole, now has a sword, and the sail on the raft has shifted from a plain white sail to having a pirate skull and crossbones. The front cover also has the same drawing, but is altered even less. 3 changes on the 2007 map include a longer pirate flag on the top of the mast, the addition of the name of the raft, Captain Kidd, and the addition of a stack of treasure chests on the raft. Another slight change includes 2 boys fishing with some fish swimming in Catfish Cove on the 1957 version. The buoys are still present on the 2007 version, but one fish has been swapped for a sea creature tentacle. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following the EP Sunday Sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to EnfieldPost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and EnfieldPost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has the entrance to Fort Wilderness. You can see a young guest talking to a cast member dressed in a frontier military uniform. The sign for Fort Wilderness is at the top of the postcard, and if you look closely at the bottom, you can see the shadow of the antlers that hung above the sign. On the back it reads, Fort Wilderness, Regimental Headquarters at Fort Wilderness on Tom Sawyer Island, Disneyland. It's not postmarked, but was sent with a 3-cent purple Liberty postage stamp, Scott number 1035. Let's assume they visit the park on Thursday, March 14, 1957, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The weather was a high of 57 and a low of 42. Park attendance that day was 4,048. It's addressed to Delchester Utility of Chester, Pennsylvania. It reads, Delchester Utility, Disneyland sure is a place to see. Weather was 75 degrees today. Russell's. Looking at more of the map differences between the two maps, the newer map is bigger, not in height, but in number of panels. The 57 version has 2 folds and 6 panels, and the 2007 has 4 folds and 10 panels. The additional panels include a 2-panel pirate compass with a pirate-themed quote from The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. The other 2 additional panels allow for the map to be extended and the lyrics of a sea shanty titled Pirates All. I attempted to look up the song, but couldn't find a recording or the lyrics anywhere outside of this map. I'm not sure if it was written specifically for the map or if it was ever sung in the park by the Bootstrappers. The extended map allows for additional illustrations, including banners next to some of the new features added in the 2007 version. One of the features is W. Turner Blacksmith, which has a hammer and anvil on the scroll towards the bottom of the map. The new map also includes the sailing ship Columbia going around the island near the newly named Lafitte's Tavern, Pirate Point. The back half of the island is simply marked as uncharted lands, although you can see the Mike Fink cabin, a keelboat, and the top of Fort Wilderness. The 1957 map includes these features and blocks the burning settler's cabin from guests with a section labeled Indian Territory. Terms of treaty prohibit entry. The shipwreck was added towards the center of the island and replaced the merry-go-round rock, and other features like the teeter-totter rock were also removed for more pirate-themed areas and activities. The back panels of both maps include 2 panels of descriptions of features of the island. Each one has been changed between the maps, with one slight exception. Castle Rock appears on both maps, though the 57 calls it Castle Rock Ridge and the 07 calls it just Castle Rock. It's interesting that the 57 description of Castle Rock includes a narrative of relive the days of the river pirates in the pirate's den, follow the underground maze to the dungeon of no escape. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has the Haunted Mansion facade. You can see guests walking around the sundial, and in the background, the cypress trees lining the north side of the building. It's postmarked December 26, 2025, with a Santa Ana cancel and 2 postage stamps, a 39-cent Disney character Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse postage stamp, and a 37-cent Disney character Jiminy Cricket and Pinocchio postage stamp, Scott numbers 4025 and 3868 respectively. I assume they visit the park on Monday, December 22nd, 2025, when park hours were from 8 a.m. to midnight. The weather was a high of 64 and a low of 50. It reads, 12/22/25. Hello. I hope you like this vintage card. Today I'm in Disneyland. I'm hoping to watch the parade and Fantasmic, since I haven't seen them in a while. Lauren, at Capybara Crossing. Thank you so much for the postcard, Lauren. I love finding and sending vintage postcards. It feels like I'm helping fulfill its purpose. I'm heading to the San Francisco Vintage Paper Fair later this month. I might grab a few vintage postcards for other locations beyond Disneyland I plan to visit this year. I hope you were able to catch both the parade and Fantasmic. I also love the fun Daiso washi tape and fun stickers you used on the back of the postcard. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Sent from Disneyland or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell, theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.